like to call the City Council meeting to order for Monday, May 28th, 2024. And I'd like to call on I'd like to call the caucus to order for Monday, May 28th, 2024. And we have 21 items for original consideration. The clerk would please read item number 1.
Item number 1 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing to extend the temporary moratorium on the submission and processing of building permits, certificates of occupancy, certificates of use, and land use approvals for smoke shops, vape shops, hookah lounges, and vape consumption businesses as the City Council considers changes to the Schenectady City Code, Chapter 264.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 2.
Item number 2 for original consideration, a resolution transmitting to the Schenectady County Planning Department proposed changes to the Schenectady zoning ordinance entitled The Regulation of Vape Shops, Smoke Shops, Vape Lounges, Hookah Lounges, and Vape Consumption Businesses.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 3.
Item number 3 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing on June 24, 2024, regarding the amendments to the City of Schenectady zoning ordinance relating to the Hamilton Hill redevelopment plan, also referred to as the Schenectady 40 project, in the area of Albany, Page, State, and Schenectady streets.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 4.
Item number 4 for original consideration, a resolution transmitting to the Schenectady City Planning Commission an application for a zoning ordinance amendment regarding properties located on Albany, Page, State, and Schenectady streets for the Hamilton Hill redevelopment plan, also referred to as the Schenectady 40 project.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 5.
Item number 5 for original consideration, a resolution declaring that the City Council is the lead agency for the amendments to the Schenectady City zoning code for the Hamilton Hill redevelopment plan, also referred to as the Schenectady 40 project.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 6.
Item number 6 for original consideration, a resolution confirming the appointment of Megan Hastig as the representative of the League of Women Voters of Schenectady County to the Civilian Police Review Board.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 7.
Item number 7 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing fee waivers for exterior building repair permits.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 8.
Item number 8 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing a swimming pools operating agreement with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Schenectady Incorporated.
Discussed in committee without objection and on consent. Item number 9.
Item number 9 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a 3-year home consortium agreement with the city of Troy and the town of Colony.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 10.
Item number 10 for original consideration, a resolution adopting the Pro-Housing Communities Pledge.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 11.
Item number 11 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the issuance of revocable permit number 683 to MTX Group Incorporated for a sign that will overhang the city's right-of-way at 400 State Street, Schenectady, New York.
Discussed in committee without objection and on consent. Item number 12.
Item number 12 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the issuance of revocable permit number 684 to Maverick Quantum Incorporated for a sign that will overhang the city's right-of-way at 400 State Street, Schenectady, New York.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 13.
Item number 13 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of a vacant lot at 302 Schenectady Street for $2,500.00.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 14.
Item number 14 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of a vacant lot at 310 Schenectady Street for $2,500.00.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 15.
Item number 15 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of a vacant lot at 1815 Albany Street for $3,500.00.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 16.
Item number 16 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 1755 Avenue B for $90,000.00.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 17.
Item number 17 for original consideration, a resolution amending resolution number 2018-251, authorizing the sale of 130 Front Street.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 18.
Item number 18 for original consideration, a resolution recognizing Sparrow Zulas and Stephen Harris for their leadership in revitalizing Woodlawn Park.
This item will be taken out of order, and I will be presenting that. Item number 19.
Item number 19 for original consideration, a resolution recognizing National Caribbean American Heritage Month.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. This will be presented at a later date. Item number 20.
Item number 20 under contract and supply, a resolution authorizing the issue of a purchase order for hydrofluorosilicic acid 2024.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 21.
Item number 21, item number 21 under contract and supply, a resolution awarding the bid and contract for the Schenectady Police Locker and Toilet Room renovations rebid mechanical construction to Eckert Mechanical LLC in the amount of $94,594.00.
Discussed in committee without objection and on consent. If there's nothing more to come before the City Council caucus, I ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Ms. Patrick, second by Mr. Mutivaran. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. And I'd like to call on Pastor Nicole John Simone of Dury Amy Zion Church for the prayer invocation.
Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Lord, you have done your part today. The sun is in the sky, the clouds are there, and yet for another day you have kept the earth in order. So God, help us to do our part today here on earth. Lord, I pray for each council member as they are here tonight to do their part. They're here tonight to make decisions for the city of Schenectady, to serve the people. Lord, we come before you, myself included, none of us perfect, all of us with our flaws, but each of us have a heart. So help us to use our heart to make decisions with compassion and love for all people. I pray that you would be with all those in attendance tonight who have come here to make a statement or to just listen. That we would all be able to work together, citizen and elected official, from one side of the city to the other. Let us work together and live together in harmony. This is my prayer. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to call on Maureen Obey to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. If the deputy clerk would please complete the roll call.
Mr. Toro? Present. Mr. Farley is absent. Mr. Mancini?
Present.
Mr. Mutivaran?
Present.
Ms. Patrick?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Present.
Ms. Porterfield?
Here. Thank you. We have one out of order resolution recognizing Spiro Zulis and Stephen Harris for their years of service in Woodlawn Park. And I ask the Majority Leader, Mr. John Mutivaran, to please take the chair. Thank you. I'd like to ask Spiro Zulis and Stephen Harris to join me behind the rail, please. May I have the floor?
Yeah, please proceed.
Thank you. A resolution recognizing Spiro Zulis and Stephen Harris for their leadership in revitalizing Woodlawn Park. Whereas Woodlawn Park is located on Kings Road in Schenectady, New York. In the spring of 2011, after years of neglect and limited city funding, a small group of residents led by Spiro Zulis and Steve Harris reclaimed the park. And whereas in 2012, a master plan was developed. After the first cleanup, the excitement and enthusiasm in the community began to grow. More and more residents came out to help the efforts, which included an annual spring cleanup and annual fall rake day. And whereas over the 13 years of renovation, the park has installed a playground, a pavilion, an area of reflection memorial garden, a rehab basketball court, exercise stations, a sculptural bench, a volleyball court, a horseshoe pit area, pavement games, picnic tables, benches, grills, and trash and recycling receptacles. Some of the work was accomplished with numerous grants and in-kind services from the city and help from small businesses such as Media Well Done and Matthews Signs. And whereas throughout the process, Spiro Zulis kept things organized and could be seen with his ever-present clipboard, keeping track of progress and securing various grants. Stephen Harris, who is a woodworker by hobby and trade, made signs for the park, including the main entrance and arbor post signs which greet visitors coming into the park, and the Woodlawn Park stenciled sign on the park building. And whereas in 2019, a splash pad and cooling center was installed, almost 20 years since the park pool had closed. And whereas funding came from a myriad of funding streams, including the City of Schenectady, the Schenectady Foundation's Thriving Neighborhoods Challenge, Carlilian Foundation, Wright Family Foundation, and the William Gundry Broughton Charitable Foundation, and private donors, including Trustco Bank. And whereas the dedicated group of volunteers also raised funds through their numerous pasta dinner fundraisers at the Woodlawn Park annual garage sales, which had its final sale this year. And whereas the total restoration and renovation of the park was an investment of more than $300,000. And whereas for those involved, the project became more than just a park improvement, but rather a symbolic civil engagement of what happens when a group of volunteers band together to transform what was a overgrown and neglected patch of urban wilderness into a crown jewel. Vilma Fuzzy Elliott was one of the faithful founding volunteers who passed away in 2022. She said this about the grueling work volunteers spent restoring the site. We never complained. We became a family. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Schenectady City Council and Mayor Gary R. McCarthy do hereby pause in their deliberations to recognize and extend heartfelt gratitude to Spiro Zulis and Stephen Harris for their 13 years of dedication and leadership in the restoration and redevelopment of Woodlawn Park. I'd like to move the resolution.
May I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Resolution is passed. Congratulations.
Thanks, Marion. So I first would like to thank everybody for recognizing us, our committee members, some of whom are here with us. I also would like to thank Marion, who also worked at some of our garage sales and volunteered. I also particularly want to thank the mayor, Gary McCarthy, because he sat with me through numerous meetings when we first formed our committee and kind of fleshed out what we wanted to foresee for the park. I also want to thank the Woodlawn Neighborhood Association for backing us in our efforts. They were with us 100%. Also, a shout out to Janet Chen Given, the chair of the Friends of the Woodlawn Preserve, who served as our fiscal agent to help us secure all the funding for the grants we applied for. And I can't go without saying all of our volunteers, past and present, who worked tirelessly to redevelop the park. It's become one of the most blighted urban spaces in 2011 to something that a lot of the community has pride in now. And I mentioned this, we had a dinner a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned this to our committee people, but I would mention it to all the council members. Google Woodlawn Park, Schenectady, New York for Google reviews. We are the top-rated park in the city of Schenectady, and just read through the comments with the parents who bring their children into the park. So it's definitely a testament to all of the work that we've put forth, hundreds and hundreds of hours. So I extend our appreciation and thanks to the city for their support, and another shout out to the Office of General Services, Floyd from the past, and then Lewis currently, who gets back to us immediately. So, and just the staff at City Hall, they've been phenomenal. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Sure. I'd like to ask for approval of the minutes of May 13th, 2024. Moved by Mr. Williams, second by Mr. Mancini. All in favor? Aye. If the clerk would please read any communications and petitions.
Communications presented to the City Council for Tuesday, May 28, 2024. Under official, from Mayor McCarthy, a list of appointments dated May 28, 2024. Under general, from PD Voris, an email expressing concerns about the locker room contracts for the Schenectady Police Department, referencing Ronald Reagan with a pun and mentioning her ongoing displacement and difficulty locating her belongings. Under petitions, none.
Thank you. I'd like to call on any city council members to provide committee reports. This time, we'll ask for privilege of the floor related to the legislative agenda. I have no one signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment on the legislative agenda closed. I'd ask for approval of the consent legislative agenda. Moved by Ms. Patrick, second by Mr. Mancini. All those in favor? Aye. This time we'll have privilege of the floor regarding general city business. I have 4 people signed up to speak. Just a reminder, the time to speak is 3 minutes. And I will, if you can't hear the timer from there, I'll remind you when your time is up. The first person signed up to speak is Ronald Soriano. I don't see Mr. Soriano present. Edmund Lavin Jr.
Good evening. I was here on 3/25/2024 when I again asked for your help with corrupt judges Valetico and Frost, both appointed by the mayor. I left you all proof of my allegations. Tanika Frost signed both of these motions without proof of service. That is obstruction of governmental administration. But you all had. I never received a penny more from garnishment after 9/10. And he said my lien on our house was satisfied. Trial was held 11 days later. The mayor and now County Attorney Gardner have denied my ethics complaints before a hearing. That is obstruction of governmental administration and part of the conspiracy to deprive me of my constitutional rights of due process and a fair hearing. All of you are complicit after the fact. There is no time limit to prosecute for conspiracy to deprive me of my constitutional rights to due process and a fair hearing. Mayor is chief law enforcement officer in the city of Schenectady and must ensure justice, not cover up for corruption. Council members are to help tax-paying citizens with governmental problems, not cover up for corruption. County Attorney Gardner and District Attorney Carney are mandated by law to hold Falatico accountable when the laws he broke are proven to them. When they don't, they are obstructing governmental administration, and I did give them the proof also. U.S. Attorney Barnett is also guilty of obstruction of governmental administration for refusing to prosecute Falatico and Frost. What do I have to do in Schenectady, New York? Identify as a black transgender woman to have my constitutional rights upheld? By the way, Mayor, I had to tell D.A. Carney the obstruction law in New York. He didn't know what it was. In New York State, which he improperly used to arrest Daniel of YouTube, New York State audit. For walking up to caution tape, he was arrested for not moving back. I guess the cop couldn't do his job but refused to move the tape and instead arrested Daniel. Mr. Mayor, you have been able to keep FBI, sheriff, police chief from doing their job. When the axe falls, it will be your head that falls in the basket. Council members better contact me. It is a color of law violation, which you are all guilty of. And the prayer was nice by that woman, but no one's going to get justice out of you people unless they force it on you.
Thank you. Lori Hoyt?
Good evening. I live at 815 Lakewood Avenue, so right next to the park, Central Park, that is. And I'm really excited about the new pool that is going to be open at the park. We've been watching it be built over the winter. And I'm including some ideas that I emailed last summer that were then forwarded to the park director at the time, but I'm following up just as I'm not really sure where, some of that lies. And some of these ideas are probably too late for this year, but I'm just hoping for the future. First, I would love for funding to be made available or a business to offer free or very reduced lifeguard training for Schenectady City School District students to become lifeguards. I'm sure some of them are already, but I know that's cost prohibitive to get the training sometimes too. And we do have a pool at the school where even if this were over next winter, developing more guards. Such a big pool is gonna need a lot of lifeguards. I hate when you see sections of pools closed because there's not enough guards. Number two, it would be great if the city could coordinate with CDTA or something else to have a bus or trolley running routes to the pool for better access for both youth and adults throughout the city. Then maybe this third thing, I don't know how many people, non-residents, are coming to the pool. I know many non-residents are using our tennis courts and disc golf at no cost. And I think many of them are not residents, which is great, but you cannot use other parks in suburban neighborhoods for free in many cases. So I would love if non-residents were charged a fee to use the pool to help offset the cost of running the pool over time. As a city resident, I'm unable to swim at the Niskayuna Town Pool, the Colony Town Pool, the Towasentha Town Pool, unless I go with a resident, and I pay a higher fee. These are policies that, just like I've read online, so I can't tell you what their policies are this year, if some of those have changed. But just as an idea, the Niskayuna Town Pool, at least last year, listed $10 for an adult to swim as a guest, and you need to come with a resident, though residents also pay $10 for an individual swim, though that's discounted if those residents buy a pass for the year. In Colony Town Park, it's $12 for an adult non-resident to swim, and you must come with a resident, so even if you have the fee, you can't just decide to pay that. An adult resident pays $7. Residents pay $2 to get into that park, and non-residents pay $10. So again, I think, is that time up?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Meg Levine?
Good evening, Mayor, President Porterfield, and members of the council. I signed up to speak in the event folks in favor of a ceasefire resolution which I oppose, would be appearing tonight, as has occurred in recent meetings, but so as not to interrupt the business of the council, which in my view is critical to the welfare of the city, as opposed to the affairs in the Middle East, which are beyond the council's legislated scope. I decline to speak. I don't know if there are other speakers, but I respectfully request that if someone tonight is speaking in favor of a ceasefire resolution, that I may exercise my privilege then. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no one else signed up to speak on the public comment of city business, so I declare this public comment closed. At this time, miscellaneous business of the council. Ms. Patrick.
Thank you. Well, we had two great ceremonies today. Our fire department this morning had a ceremony at which 4 of our officers received promotions, and now the police department was having an awards ceremony for many, many of the officers who had meritorious service and other types of awards. So I just wanted to congratulate all of those officers in both departments and also thank them for the service that they provide to all of our residents in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Apologize for being a little bit late. I was at the police ceremony. Always appreciate people coming out. I do want to thank the team that did so much for the Woodlawn Park. That was a great park in the 60s, went in a period of decline, and it's really a true model of neighborhood and government participation where people stepped up, made a difference, and turned that into a great resource for not only the neighborhood, but the city as a whole. And so I thank the whole group that's here and appreciate your time and effort. And I know some of transitioning on to other things in life, so I wish you the best in whatever you choose to do. And those that are still going to be here helping out, we thank you for that and look forward to working with you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank everyone for coming out tonight to speak, and to the individuals who helped in Woodlawn Park. We honored Spiro tonight and Steve, but there were a lot of volunteers, some who are actually no longer with us, and so I want to tell you I truly appreciate what happened in that park, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of it from time to time. So, we're going to miss you not being here anymore, Spiro, but the park will be there for us to remember all the wonderful things that you did. So thank you all for coming out tonight. Just want to remind folks about a couple events that are happening this weekend. Kids Arts Fest is going to be happening around City Hall from 12 to 4 p.m. And then Pride Day is taking place over near Schenectady County Community College. And I'm not sure of the start time, but I think it's sort of like 9 in the morning. It's a long day, so there'll be opportunity to bounce back and forth between the two. But those couple events are going on this Saturday. There's nothing else to come before the council. Ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Mutaveran, second by Mr. Mancini. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you and have a good night.